Welcome to the Ancestry Seeking podcast, where your family history becomes your greatest legacy. This is the beginning of Season 2. I'm Barbara Beauregard, your host. Let's begin. As we begin Season 2, I want to start with something foundational, not a tool, not a system, not a checklist, but a belief. Because there is one belief that quietly stops more people from preserving their family history than any lack of time, money, or technology ever could. And that belief is this: I need to know more before I begin. That you have to be an expert, that you have to understand every record, that you need the right software, the right filing system, or the right level of experience. And until you have all of that, you shouldn't start yet. Today, I want to gently dismantle that idea because you do not have to be an expert to start. And in fact, waiting until you feel like one is often the very thing that keeps people from starting at all. Let's talk about why this belief feels so real. Genealogy can look intimidating from the outside. There are massive databases, complex charts. DNA results with numbers and charts and unfamiliar terms. Old handwriting that's hard to read, records that don't always agree with one another, and then there's comparison. You see beautifully organized family trees, perfectly labeled photo collections, thick binders, published books, and it's easy to think, I'm not there yet. I don't know enough. I'll start when I understand this better. But here's something important to remember. Every experienced genealogist you admire started exactly where you are, with uncertainty, with missing information, with wrong assumptions, with mistakes. Expertise was not the starting point. It was the result. Now, let's talk about risk, because people often worry about doing things wrong, recording the wrong date, misidentifying someone in a photo, saving information that later turns out to be incomplete. But that's not the real danger. The real danger is waiting. Waiting until stories fade. Waiting until names are forgotten. Waiting until voices are no longer here to ask. Family history doesn't wait for us to feel confident. And preservation does not require perfection. It requires attention. It requires noticing what matters and choosing to save it. You don't lose family history because you didn't know enough. You lose it because it was never captured at all. So let's redefine what it actually means to start. Starting does not mean creating a perfect family tree, organizing every photo you own, solving every mystery, or choosing the right system from day one. Starting means one small intentional action. It might mean writing down a name before you forget it, recording a short memory on your phone, saving a photo, and labeling it with what you know, even if what you know is incomplete. Starting means choosing to care now instead of someday. Here's something that often surprises people. Confidence does not come first. Action does. You don't wake up one day suddenly feeling ready. You feel ready because you've already begun. Each small step builds familiarity. Each action builds clarity. Each saved story builds momentum. And over time, what once felt intimidating starts to feel manageable. Not because genealogy became simpler, but because you became more comfortable with it. I want to give you explicit permission to begin imperfectly. You can start with partial information, with uncertainty, with questions you don't yet know how to answer. You don't need a finished plan. You don't need the best tools. You don't need to know where this project will eventually lead. You are not preserving your family history for experts. You're preserving it for the people who come after you. They won't care that your system wasn't perfect. They'll care that you cared enough to begin. So instead of asking, "Do I know enough to start?" try asking this instead: what would I regret not saving? That question changes everything, because suddenly expertise matters less than attention, and perfection matters less than intention. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine you have one old photograph. You don't know the exact date. You're not sure who everyone is, but you know where it came from, and you know why it matters to you. Saving that photo and writing down what you do know is preservation. Waiting until you know everything is not. That small act may be the only reason someone in the future knows that image even exists. You don't have to be an expert. You have a much more important role. You are a caretaker, someone who notices, someone who saves, someone who passes things forward instead of letting them disappear. That role matters more than any title or level of experience. So here's your action step for today. Choose one thing connected to your family history, one photo, one name, one memory, one document, and do one small thing with it. Write down what you know. Record a short voice note. Save it somewhere intentional. That's it. You've started. In the next episode, we'll talk about what actually matters most to save and what can safely wait, because not everything needs your attention at once. And learning how to prioritize is one of the most freeing skills in genealogy and legacy work. Thanks for listening to the Ancestry Seeking podcast. For free guides, worksheets, and legacy tools, visit ancestryseeking.com. You don't have to be an expert to start, you just have to begin.